Rebecca, was this the first time you'd heard of Christine Chubbuck's story?
Yes, I had no idea about Christine Chubbuck. I'd never heard about her. The first time that I heard of her or why she is at all well known, and marginally well known really, it was when I got the script with a cover letter that had a sort of 5-line synopsis of what the film was about.
Now, I understand you had some footage, like 15 minutes or so, to go
Yeah, it was about 15, 20 minutes. Actually, it was 15. It was 15. I think of her interviewing a segment of her morning show, which is really all that's out there. And it was quite, a dry piece of footage. She's interviewing someone, so the subject takes up most of the air. And it's about a zoning board petition in Sarasota. It's not the most thrilling bit of material, but it was, in the 70s, often they'd shoot things in one static wide shot. So I was able to watch her all the way through and watch her responses and her body language it sounds like a short amount of stuff to go on, but actually you can intuit an awful lot about someone from first meeting, as we know, and often those intuitions are quite powerful. So if sort of the building of the character felt like an exercise in letting that intuition work on this bit of footage and building it from there.
And what was your take of her?
I mean, you asked me what my take of her was. That's a slightly confusing question, because my take of her had to be what was the script. It was really, there's Craig Shilowitz's take of her, and then there's me interpreting the writing. So a lot of everything I get is from the script. It's how the dramaturg decides to draft the story, what story he wants to tell. So I don't know. I think he wrote something profoundly compassionate and that grapples with someone who is multi-strand led and complicated and difficult and does something truly frightening and tries to grapple with that in a compassionate way and humanize that person.
Well, we often hear that actors don't judge their characters. So that being said, did you feel any scene with tremendous empathy, more so than, of course, the obvious? Were there certain, let's say the puppet show, where she was almost speaking to herself in a sense. She was talking to these children, but it was almost as if she was self-medicating in some sense.
No, that scene was very much a way to show, I suppose, what was going on the inside a little bit. I suppose one of the ways in for me was that I found it fascinating that she seemed to me to be someone who was terrified constantly that she was getting it wrong, that she was judged, that her version of herself, that she paradoxically only wanted to be herself and refused to be anything else. But there was also this deep-rooted fear that it wasn't accepted, that it wouldn't work. So I always felt that there was an element of her that was performing what she perceived to be normal. And sometimes she's quite good at it, and sometimes it's bad acting. Like, it's actually bad acting, and you see it, and you see what's going on the inside versus the thing that she's trying to convince everyone that she's good at. And there's the sort of gestures and the kind of sense of someone in control. It felt to me almost like when a politician does that sort of studied thing of, I know how to be this person that's in control of everything. And that to me was a key, I suppose, because I think there are a lot of portrayals of people who are misfits and outsiders that somehow, in some way, glamorize it and kind of make it look like it's cool, or it's a sort of the sort of otherness is interesting. And I think this is a film that dares to show how painful it is to feel that you are other and different, and what a struggle that is when you can't be anything but that. And the differences that you get being judged on that when you're a woman in the 70s workplace versus a man, I suppose.
Right. And not Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah, not Mary Tyler Moore, exactly.